Huh?
You wake up. For half a second, you know exactly what happened in the dream. You were somewhere strange. Someone was talking to you. Then you reach for your phone, and by the time your thumb hits the screen, it's gone. Not faded. Gone. You spent almost 2 hours dreaming last night. You will remember almost none of it. Why does your brain let something that big disappear so completely? Most people assume dreams are just leftover noise. Random static the brain throws away because it never mattered in the first place. That explanation feels comfortable. It is also wrong. Your brain does not forget dreams by accident. It forgets them on purpose, and the reason is stranger than random noise. Start with the math. A typical night includes 4 to 6 periods of REM sleep, the stage most associated with vivid dreaming. Add it up and you are dreaming for roughly 90 minutes to 2 hours every single night. That is not a glitch happening once in a while. That is a massive, recurring event every night of your life since the day you were born. And yet, ask anyone what they dreamed 3 nights ago. Silence. Here's the part that doesn't add up. Your brain is excellent at holding on to things. It remembers your childhood bedroom. It remembers a song you haven't heard in a decade. It remembers the face of someone who hurt your feelings in the 4th grade. So why does a system this good at keeping memories fail specifically and reliably only for dreams? To understand what's happening, you have to go back to a body lying on the ground, eyes closed, breathing slow, somewhere in the grasslands of East Africa. For most of human existence, sleep was not safe. There was no locked door, no mattress raised off the floor, just a body, unconscious, on open or semi-open terrain, while predators moved through the dark. Evolution does not tolerate a defenseless body for 8 hours a night unless something valuable is happening during that time. Sleep survived natural selection because the brain uses it to do essential work. Memory consolidation is one of that work's biggest jobs. Sleep researcher Robert Stickgold at Harvard Medical School has spent decades studying what the sleeping brain actually does with the day's experiences. His research shows that sleep is when the brain sorts through recent memories, strengthens the ones that matter, and quietly deletes the ones that don't. Picture a person going through a cluttered desk at night, filing important documents, throwing away scrap paper. That is your brain, every single night, and dreaming appears to be a side effect of that filing process running in the background. But if dreaming is a side effect of memory processing, why doesn't the processing itself get remembered? This is where the story gets stranger. During REM sleep, your brain is not simply on in the way it is during the day. One particular chemical almost disappears. Norepinephrine, sometimes called noradrenaline, is a neurotransmitter your brain uses constantly while you're awake to help lock experiences into long-term memory. It's part of what makes a first kiss or a car accident so vividly rememberable. During REM sleep, norepinephrine production drops to some of its lowest levels of the entire day. Your brain is dreaming in vivid detail while running on a memory system that has effectively been switched to low power. Think about trying to write down a phone number with a pen that's almost out of ink. The information exists, the intention to record it exists, but the marks barely show up on the page. That's what's happening to your dreams as they happen, not erased after the fact, barely written down in the first place. This raises another question. If the ink is running low, why does the dream feel so vivid and detailed while you're inside it? Because vividness and memorability are not the same thing. Neuroscientist J. Allen Hobson, along with his colleague Robert McCarley, proposed one of the most influential explanations of dreaming back in the 1970s, known as the activation synthesis hypothesis. Their idea was that during REM sleep, the brainstem fires off essentially random neural signals, and the higher parts of your brain, the parts responsible for meaning and story, scramble to make sense of the chaos in real time. Your cortex is basically an overachieving narrator forced to improvise a plot from a burst of static. That improvised story feels rich and immersive in the moment. It just isn't being written into permanent memory the way waking events are. So the dream is vivid because your brain is working overtime to construct a coherent experience. It's forgettable because the chemical system responsible for saving experiences has been dimmed. Two separate processes happening at the same time that together explain the entire mystery. There's still a piece missing though. Why would evolution design a system that spends 2 hours a night generating an elaborate, immersive experience, and then throws almost all of it away? Here's where the ancient environment matters again. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night on open ground thousands of years ago. Maybe a sound outside the shelter woke you. In that moment, your survival depends on knowing instantly what is real. Was that rustling sound part of a dream, or is something actually approaching? A brain that blurred dream content with real memory would be a dangerous brain to have. Confusing an imagined threat with a genuine one, or worse, dismissing a genuine threat as just a dream could get you killed. German sleep researcher Michael Schredel, one of the most cited scientists studying dream recall, has spent years tracking why some people remember dreams constantly and others almost never do. One of his most consistent findings is that dream recall depends heavily on whether you wake up directly out of REM sleep or transition smoothly into deeper stages first. People who wake abruptly during or right after REM report dramatically higher recall. People who drift through additional sleep stages before waking almost always lose the dream completely, even if it was just as vivid. That single finding reframes the entire mystery. Forgetting isn't a failure of memory. It's a feature that only reveals its purpose depending on the exact moment you happen to open your eyes. This also explains something almost everyone has experienced but never quite understood. You dream, you wake, and for a few seconds you can still describe the dream in detail. Then you get up, walk to the bathroom, and by the time you look in the mirror, it's already dissolving. That's not you losing focus. Waking activity itself, movement, light, conversation, appears to accelerate the forgetting. Your brain treats the transition into the waking world as a signal to finish clearing out the dream content, the same way closing a browser tab clears whatever was open in it. There's a psychological layer here too. Dreams draw heavily on emotional processing centers, especially the amygdala, while the hippocampus, the structure most responsible for converting experience into lasting memory, behaves differently during REM than it does while you're awake. Some sleep researchers, including work associated with Matthew Walker at the University of California, Berkeley, have proposed that REM sleep functions almost like overnight therapy, letting the brain process emotionally charged experiences without the same stress chemicals that were present when those experiences originally happened. Under this view, the emotional processing is the actual point. The specific images and storylines are just the exhaust it leaves behind. You don't need to remember exactly what you dreamed about losing a job to benefit from your brain having processed the anxiety underneath it. That reframes the entire experience one more time. You've likely always assumed that not remembering a dream means you missed something meant for you. Instead, the forgetting might be evidence that the process worked exactly as intended. The emotional weight got handled. The footage was never the deliverable. Put all of this together and a strange picture forms. Every night, your brain runs a vivid, improvised simulation using a memory system deliberately dimmed by low norepinephrine. It uses this simulation partly to sort and strengthen real memories from the day, and partly to process emotional material without the usual stress response. Then, to protect your ability to instantly distinguish reality from fantasy the moment you wake, most of that simulation is allowed to dissolve. Faster, the more waking activity follows it. None of this is a flaw. It's a system with a specific job, and forgetting is simply what it looks like from the outside when that job is finished. So go back to this morning. You reached for your phone, and the dream disappeared before your thumb hit the screen. It felt like a small loss, like your brain had failed to hold on to something valuable. But nothing failed. Your brain ran a full night of hidden maintenance, processed the emotional residue of your day, sorted which memories deserved to last, and then, on schedule, let go of the raw material it no longer needed. The dream wasn't lost, it was used. And the reason you can't remember it isn't that your brain forgot you. It's that, for one more morning, it remembered exactly what mattered and quietly discarded the rest.